在现在的工作环境，我们工作的 job title 常常不代表我们真正工作的项目。有的时候公司人少，所以一个人的工作特别的繁琐，或者你特别的受用，公司可能来个 reorganization， 有人放长假，有人离职，种种的原因，我们可能都得做我们自己 job title 之外的工作。所以问题来了，到底 CV 要怎么写才能清楚地列出了你的能力呢？ Hello， 欢迎来到 Executive Plus 主管双语沟通力的 podcast。 我们希望带给大家最实用的沟通工具，包括了成功人士对全球市场的分享，职场英语的技能，跨文化沟通技巧与其他能帮助您成为出色领导者的工具。 Hi, I'm Sherry, founder of Executive Plus.As a language trainer and certified coach, I've trained hundreds of managers from Fortune 500 companies such as Dior, Google, Deloitte, and Yahoo.
And I'm Nick, Director of Communication Strategy at Presentality. I've helped startups raise millions of US dollars in funding and train the executives of publicly listed companies to present on the global stage.
Welcome to the Executive Plus podcast,
where you can take your communication and language skills from good to great.Hey everybody, welcome back to an Executive Plus podcast. Over the past few weeks, we've been talking about going into interviews, updating your CV, and everything it takes to find a better position. But sometimes people find out that what they do is very different than the job title that they have. So when it comes to your interview or your CV and describing what you do, sometimes you shouldn't just stick to your job title.
我发现现在这种状况其实非常的多，一个人可能要做3个人的工作，那不管是可能是公司的规模比较小，或者是你可能公司现在在 undergoing 一些 reorg， or even有的时候人家休长假等等，或者是他可能怀孕，他必须要休息一阵子。 A lot of situation happen， 但你可能必须要做的是3个人的工作，但这3个人工作代表说你的 job title 没有办法代表你的能力 your capability of handling the kind of job that you do. So我们今天的这个 CV 的单元呢， we're kind of going back a little bit， 就是当我们在想我们要怎么去写 CV 的时候，你要非常的小心，那你也要能够真正的列出你的能力。 So really listing out what you're capable of.As
Sherry said, oftentimes, whether it's you're in a small group, small team, startup, etc., and you have to cover multiple roles, or you yourself have to pick up other work, just sticking to your job title doesn't give your interviewer or your potential new company a strong understanding of what you do.So when you're starting to build out your CV, you're starting to decide how to answer questions, the first thing you need to do is go back and actually think about that question. Does my job title directly describe what I do? And one case of this was working recently with a client who was trying to switch positions, and her previous job title was executive assistant, but she was looking for a financial controller job.Now, for a lot of people, they would think, well, that's kind of a big jump. That's a large switch in your career trajectory. Do you need other certifications? Do you need other experience in order to justify that jump? But when she starts listing out all of her tasks as an executive assistant, it's actually like 80% already a financial controller job.Just because of the nature of who her boss was and the size of their company.
Yeah, absolutely. 那我发现其实如果你就是一个 executive assistant 或者你的 title 本来是 secretary， 其实你做的工作很多都是老板的工作。And this is kind of true, especially in Taiwan. 在台湾我们有很多比较传统产业，我们有这样子的，也是常常会看到这样子的情况。So, especially if you're a personal assistant or executive assistant, you do a lot of things for different departments, for your boss. So really kind of look carefully at what you do in a daily, in a weekly, or monthly basis. It's really important.
So what we want to cover with you today is actually a strategy for getting a better sense of what your job entails and what parts of your job fall under the general idea of your job title versus things that you can describe outside of your job title that will qualify you for either other positions or help give people a deeper understanding of what we do. What this is not about is if someone doesn't have a lot of experience and sometimes simple things like getting coffee becomes provided daily motivation material to coworkers to increase productivity, right? We're not trying to cover up simple things by making it sound fancy. What we're actually covering is that the functions of your job and the reality of what you do may not be completely in sync and how to describe that.
So we came up with about 6 steps, 大概有6个步骤，你可以去做一点 self-discovery, okay, 自我的察觉的动作。So, first thing, 我们刚刚讲过 listing out your daily, weekly, and monthly, even quarterly or annual task.
Just quickly listing out all the things that you cover. This may seem too simple and be like, oh, in my brain, I can do this. But when you start to look at things, say, quarterly, there's probably a lot that you do that you don't have in front of you, so you don't think about it. Listing it out becomes really important.
没错. And number 2, list out your biggest challenges or your deadlines this quarter or year. 所以这个部分呢，你通常可以去回想一下，你在这一年当中，或在这个 quarter 当中，你做了什么样的 big project， 你有什么样的 big deadline， 那这个东西它通常都是在你 resume 上面是非常重要的。
The next step is to Google the job position that you have. So a lot of people Google the job position that they want, right? Because there will be job requirements. But actually Google the job position that you have. And a lot of these HR recruitment websites, Indeed, Glassdoor, etc., will have a basic description and the requirements of this position. Well, again, that gives you a sense of what is it everyone else thinks you do so that you have a baseline.
Right. 所以通常你在这个 Glassdoor 或者是 even LinkedIn, you can try to do that. 做一点 market research, 了解一下你的这个 job title, 你现在这个 job title 对人家来讲是什么意思，所以你才从这个地方你就可以了解到OK， 所以我可能做的比这个还要更多，我可能做的已经超过了这个。So market research is really important here.
And as Sherry says, once you have the market research, then the next step is to start finding the things that you do that fall under your job description. Because if you listen to our previous episodes, this is where you start to describe out, say, your responsibilities,
right,
the details of how you brought good results to your basic job functions. And then the step after that is start to think about what are all the things that don't fall under my job title category. How do I describe these things? And once you have separated these out, now you can start to build out your full resume. Like, here are the things that fall under my job description. Here are extra skills or experiences that I have.
所以来到了这一点呢，如果你发现你做的很多事情其实跟你的 job description 或者是你的 title 不太 it doesn't really match, it doesn't go there, 这个时候你应该要来 create 或者是你要来有点像 okay, do I lie about it? Do I just create a job title for myself then? If I do, I feel like I do a lot of managerial role. Do I call myself a manager? But the answer is don't do that, right? You never lied about it. 千万不要觉得说我自己可以 create 一个 job title, 因为到时候你的 interviewer 或者是对方他一定会打电话嘛。Call the HR, check to see your profile and everything. And yeah, that's probably not a good thing to do.
Yeah, anytime that you might cause confusion by changing the job title or changing the function, if they do a background check, they're not going to come back and check with you. They're just going to look at it and go, maybe he wasn't being honest.
所以在这个时候呢，你还是 let's say you're a personal assistant or executive assistant. 你的 title 不会改变，但是这个时候你可能如果你做的这个2个 area 的工作比较类似的话，你可以把它放在同一个 category. 所以 company name, 你公司的名称，再来就是 executive assistant. 那你在旁边就要挂号这个期间，可能是哪一年的几个月到什么时候 OK, 所以如果你有等于说你有做2个不同 area 的工作的话，你一样都写 executive assistant executive assistant， 那你下面就列出你不同的工作，还有那个时间点，你就可以比较 specify the time that you actually do that particular job.This
is that opportunity to start separating out, say, maybe those special responsibilities that you took on. So let's say the first thing you list out is personal assistant, and most of your responsibilities are considered stereotypically a personal assistant's job. But once you hit executive assistant, your roles and responsibilities upgraded to preparing quarterly financial reports, preparing international customer presentations, these kind of things, then list under that these really unique job responsibilities or roles that you took on.
那如果你可能做了另外的工作，它跟你其他这个 personal assistant 或 executive assistant 的这个 category 差非常的多，那我会建议你们在另外一个 listing. So again, you can list out the same company name, 一样公司的名称，然后呢，你可以再写 executive assistant 这个 time 你就要 specify 这个 time 是什么时候，几月几年一直到什么时候，然后你在下面就可以列出你这个工作你的这些 task. Okay, so if they're very different from each other, list them out separately, but if they're similar to each other, you put them in the same group, and that's okay.
A quick recap of everything that we covered today. First is don't be pigeonholed just by your title. If you cover a lot of tasks that go beyond your title, follow our quick steps and actually discover what is stereotypically your job, what falls out of your job, so that you can give people a larger and deeper understanding of what you do. Then, when it goes into writing your CV, start to carefully plan out what things can fall under one category. Is it just a simple promotion where my roles and responsibilities are roughly the same? Or, even though the title looks somewhat similar, my roles and responsibilities are drastically different. Then start to separate these things out.
So I really hope you guys can start listing out your capability and not just your task, your job title. And good luck in job hunting.
We'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
如果你喜欢我们的 podcast, 欢迎来追踪我们的主管英文 Executive Plus 的 Facebook. 那也可以写信到我们的信箱yourcareerplus@gmail.com.